You drop an apple, and, well, it falls. Gravity isn't exactly up for debate, right?
Right, yeah, it's just a fundamental law of nature.
Exactly. But what if it was, like, just a negotiable asset? Welcome to today's deep dive, where we're looking at a pretty surreal story called Text.
Yeah, and we should probably give a quick heads up before we get too far into
Oh,
this.
for sure. So, this text mashes up the sci fi chaos of Rick and Morty characters with some highly charged political imagery, specifically Trump branding and UN globalist references.
Right, and to be super clear, our goal here today isn't to take any political stance or endorse these viewpoints. We are strictly impartial here.
Yeah, exactly. We're just impartially reporting on this fictional universe. And I mean, it's a universe where the laws of physics are entirely replaced by pure marketing.
It really is a wild premise.
Yeah.
We're looking at a world where they completely abandon what the text calls small-scale logic.
What he means, like regular science.
Yeah, exactly. The basic principles you'd use to build normal bridges or spaceships. Instead, Rick Sanchez introduces this massive strategy he calls Continental Acquisition.
Okay, wait, let's unpack that. What actually is Continental Acquisition?
Hmm.
Because they mention a Greenland to Florida high-speed golf cart bridge, right?
Yeah, and it's funded by high-yield winning bonds from the Bank of Rick and Trump.
See, it sounds to me like a hostile corporate takeover, but instead of, buying a company, they are literally buying physical geography itself.
That is a really great way to frame it. But it actually goes even deeper than just buying land. It's almost like an ontological takeover.
Ontological. Wait, meaning what?
Meaning, to pull off a bridge like that, you have to basically rewrite the fundamental code of the universe. You have to make the physical world obey the brand.
Hold on, I need to understand the actual mechanics of this, because Morty kind of represents the voice of classical reason here, right?
Yeah, he pleads for logos. He's basically begging them to just respect physical logic.
Right, he says you can't just ignore physics to make a building taller just because it looks successful. But then Rick threatens to literally fire gravity.
He does, yeah. Which is hilarious but also terrifying.
But how does that even practically work? I mean, if gravity leaves the room, don't they all just float away?
Well, normally, yes. But if you look at the Source's 2026 bigger breakdown table, they swap out traditional load-bearing architecture for branding-bearing beams.
Branding bearing beams. Wow. So, wait, what's the mechanism there?
It's that perception generates actual physical mass.
Hmm.
So the new underlying physical law is just that gold equals strength.
Oh, I see. So if enough people believe the brand is dominant, that sheer confidence literally holds the building up.
Precisely. Gravity isn't a force of nature anymore. It's basically a low-level employee that gets bullied into compliance by a stronger market presence.
That is so wild. Physics literally bowing to market dominance. But okay, if you break the literal laws of the universe, wouldn't the philosophical foundations just collapse too?
Yeah.
How do they justify this hostile takeover of reality?
You would think so. But they actually bring in Socrates to justify it.
Wait, Socrates, like the classical Athenian philosopher.
Well, yes and no. This version of Socrates stands on a gold-leafed soapbox. And he's wearing this custom robe held together by $1 Trump coin buttons.
Oh my gosh, of course he is.
Right. And he abandons classical logic entirely for what he trademarks as the art of the question.
Okay, so in this bizarre context, what does the art of the question actually mean?
It's about redefining virtue. He declares that negotiating a 30% discount on a sovereign nation is literally a divine act.
That's insane.
Yeah, think about the old Cartesian baseline of Western philosophy. I think, therefore I am.
Right.
This Socrates shifts it to, I win, therefore you aren't.
Oh, wow. I win, therefore you aren't. That's just erasing opposition through sheer market saturation, not even debate.
Exactly. And once you've rewritten philosophy to say winning is the only truth, well, you have to sell that aesthetic to the masses.
Which is where Summer comes in, right? She executes what the text calls Supreme Leader Chic.
Yeah, she's out in the driveway rebranding the family space cruiser.
Right. She calls it Air Force Rick 1. And she literally blocks the United Nations on Instagram because, I mean, their globalist filters clash with her tan.
It's ridiculous. But the branding even infiltrates the energy grid. Do you remember what the power source is for all this new infrastructure?
Oh, it's beautiful, clean coal, isn't it?
Yes. But the text explains the mechanism here too, and it's not actually burning carbon.
Wait, really? Then what is it burning?
It's powered entirely by spite.
Oh my goodness, powered by spite. And it all culminates in Summer giving this whole multiversal reality an A++ for scale.
Which makes sense for her character. Because the ultimate manifestation of this branding critical mass, it isn't even a building or a bridge.
No, it's replacing the actual sun. Right.
Yeah.
They swap it out with a tacky, blinding golden disco ball that just reflects the president's face.
Exactly. And for you listening, think about what this story is really satirizing. It's a hyper-exaggerated reflection of a post-truth era.
Yeah, it really is.
It asks what happens when form utterly annihilates function. When vibe just totally conquers facts and sheer confidence can literally override objective reality and scientific consensus.
It takes us right back to that opening idea, like treating the universe as a corporate boardroom.
Completely.
Well, I'll leave you with this to ponder. If reality and physics are just negotiable assets driven by the loudest megaphone, what happens when two conflicting brands try to fire gravity at the exact same time?